Okay, said I'd do a video on what I used to paint my dash and stuff. Let's start with the sandpaper. After I took the whole dash completely out, I sanded with 180. I don't have the box, it's got the 220, but I used 180 and then 220, and then I went up to 400. And then after I got it all sanded smoothly, I went down and I bought some of this. The guy told me that it helps do a lot. I use this for my headliner. I don't know where the can is, but he gave me a can of it that you spray on the dash itself. I wish I knew exactly where it's at. I've hunted for it, but it's a can that you spray onto the dash. For to help the paint stick to it. I'm not sure where it went, but I also used this for the floor. It's not the best. It's epoxy clear coat. It's not the best because it will scratch. But you can take some rubbing compound, 3M rubbing compound, the industrial that body shops use, and it will buff it back out. They make a better one. I just haven't ordered any. I'll give a shout out to Stone Cold Countertops. I believe that's it. I don't know how to put a link in the bottom, or I would. I'm all new to this videoing stuff. A lot of things I don't video that I should. This is some of the paint that I used. That's for the white. Then I used the clear coat for it. And this is auto body paint, by the way. That's the purple. And then the reducer, which I think I had the reducer. I had to go get some more and the guy was closed, but he gave me a reducer for the high tech instead of this DuPont color. I just used it on a little bit of what I had left to do with the dash. Turned out real good. It didn't change it any. And as far as the floor, I did use a paint gun. Excuse the mess. I do a lot of work down here. As far as the floor, what I done is I used a piece of plywood, reasonably thick. And I'll show you. If the spider don't get me first. I was kind of scared of spiders anyway. And he's alive. This is the first floor I did. I've actually kind of painted with it before, after I took it out. I'm trying to figure out how to get my emblems and stuff back out. But this was the first floor I done, or the second one of the two. This is actually the emblem off the hood. It's clear coated into it. Took a router and routed it. I didn't like the floor in it. I even put the side piece for the door in it. I didn't like this one because it had the rivets in the wood. It had these in it, and the board was not even. So some of the spots you can see my finger rubbing across it, and then it goes into it because the board wasn't level and the epoxy run out of it. But then the floor looked good for a long time, but I split it in the middle instead of doing it, I guess, in the middle long ways. I split it in the middle diagonal, I guess, straight. But basically all I done was took a piece of plywood, sanded it, cleaned it up real good, and then I put a coat of epoxy, a coat of this on there, and I let it dry. This was a long process, by the way. It takes at least 24 hours or more for it to dry. So if you done it, say if I done one this morning, tomorrow morning, I could do something with it. So you have to stay with it most of the day, get bubbles out of it. It's a long, drawn out process. But once the clear coat epoxy dried enough, I took my purple paint for the floor and I sprayed it, a couple coats of purple on it. I let that dry, mixed up some more clear coat, clear coated it again in the epoxy, just a thin layer of it, and then I painted it again, let that dry, and then I clear coated it with actual clear coat paint. And then I let that dry, and then I put a thick coat of the epoxy over that, where if the floor got scratched, it was only scratching the epoxy. It wasn't scratching the paint off the epoxy. I think I have a few pictures of that in one of my other videos of the floor. It's kind of cold here right now, and it's hard to find anything because I have my plants down here so they don't freeze. So I can't really work on anything right now. But I hope this video helps. As far as the dash, when I took the dash out, I did sand it. You have to sand every piece on that dash. I have found that if you use lacquer thinner if you have a wood grain dash, if you use that will take that wood grain stuff off a lot easier than it would you sanding it. I did figure that out. I use just regular fabric on my door panels and the top panel, the headliner, which I'm in the process of adding the purple to the carpeted part where it goes from the cab to the sleeper. I'm sewing that on by hand. Trying to think of what else. If you do use the epoxy in order to do your floor, you'll need one of these. Because once you pour the epoxy out, you will have to, hey, there it is. You will have to heat it and get all your bubbles out. All your bubbles have got to come out. Not all bubbles will come out. I have found if you take a little stick and dab it, like kind of like barely touch it, that you can get the bubbles out that way. But you still got to have the heat to kind of just go over it with the heat, just enough to where, the heat's just touching it and you keep going. Don't leave it setting like this, because if you do, then you'll burn it right there. Most of my parts that I do, like this here, This is for my gear shift. I made this myself, which it could use a little work, a little sanding, a little more. I'm not done with it. I'm almost done with it, but I'm not completely. It's a work in progress. I do a lot of this myself. I do all of it myself. It's a learn as you go kind of thing. A lot of these pieces, I'm gonna take this out here. I'm gonna take you outside and show you the truck, because a lot of this here is stuff I use for what else I put on the truck here lately. But here is, I found it, by the way. This is the plastic adhesive that I sprayed on the dash before I painted. You spray it on there, and then you pretty much kind of don't want it to dry too much. But the guy recommended it. It seemed to work really good because I didn't have any of the paint peel off, except for in one spot, and that's where I grabbed the door handle and closed the door. I'm constantly opening and closing my door, so that's kind of like how that worked, the reason why that come off. Now I've added a few other things to my truck. I had added a few things. I had painted my fenders, and I had not put them on. Put a wing on up at the top, just a fiberglass one, a little cheap, but it works. I added these. These were kind of a pain to put on, these. And then I did do my purple fenders. It's raining, it's cold. And then I done the wing up top, which the wing and the side skirts that I put on, they are going to be purple. The frame, I'm going to paint it purple as soon as I can get somebody to sandblast it. I want it sandblasted where I can clean it up really good. And it's this. It's just a really thick piece of plywood that I epoxy clear coated on both sides. It's starting to warp a little bit because I'm figuring because of the bolt holes. So I'm gonna go back and redo it, but this time when I do it, when I paint the frame purple, I'm gonna paint this white instead of wood look. It's gonna be a white. And I am gonna try to use the stone coat epoxy instead of the epoxy that I've been using. And go from there. This truck has been totally different, changed. I don't think I have a key. I think the door's locked. It is. But if you have any more questions or want me to post another video on it, do please comment on it and let me know, and I will try to get what I can for you on what I've done. When I do the things, I don't think about it. My son says he'd want a video too, so maybe I can get him the video one day while I'm working on stuff. But if y'all have any other questions or anything, just let me know. I do all this myself. I think it's a learning process. Because I feel like I'm going to pull my floor up again and do another one. Except this time it's going to be purple and white, and I'm going to try to get it to look 3D. Y'all have a good day. Thank you.